Hello everybody. I'm gonna do a slideshow here. Is this showing in the correct screen? Can you see the...
It is.
Okay. Welcome to our 22nd, no, July 2025, but it's 156th town hall. Today I will be the facilitator as Peter is either taking a break or he has even more work than usual. I actually don't even know which is the case this time. Today is gonna be a small agenda and a bit of mentions. I scraped a bit of around the Twitter and like news and thought like, what could be a nice topic that takes up the last week. And then I have prepared a knowledge base workgroup, Kipbook update, which is basically sharing a bit of what we have done, and I have some questions, and there will be Zoom poll questions that you just see where are you at your knowledge bases and where do you have your information. And if we want, we have also plenty of time for open topics tonight. But before we go into this, who are ambassadors? Well, for me, the ambassadors is a very unique bunch of people. At first, we came here for decentralization, but with the mindset of how do we use the AI for that? And we initially were like more to promote the Singularity net and their activities, but what I see here, we are also uh, promoting a bit more wider scope now with and like part of like a Cardano ecosystem and the other networks like now the FET and ASI Alliance and all the like the big networks that are working on decentralization are and like we are now promoting more than just it wasn't a small community but more a niche community where we now promote a much larger ecosystem. And how do we do it? Well, the unique thing about this that we gave a power to the person who is joining here, where at the beginning we asked what they want to do in order to and how they see it, how to promote this ecosystem, and that how it started. And we pulled our own like rules and engagements and basically a small governance experiment and this turned out into a bunch of work groups that were bottom up, like created from the bottom up. And now we have like small islands and teams working from different angles to tackle the decentralization of AI. So yeah, today I want to do some mentions with just bringing up few names. One thing is that there is a new chief marketing officer for SingularityNet. His name is David Taylor, and some of us know them from Cardano Foundation. And he's now replacing Loic Clavier, who was previously the CMO for SingularityNet, but he's moving to VeChain. And I dropped in a link here, but I will in the slide deck that I shared before. I can copy paste it again. You can find the links and where he's moving on. I think the cool thing about David Taylor is I feel like there is some part of Mihail's work here, and she's the I don't know actually is she the strategic impact or now like research alchemist. Like there are so many roles people get in this network. But yeah, like it's good to see friendly faces and teams moving around in the different areas in this larger blockchain ecosystem. And also thought because they are both like marketing members, and we had a few months ago, or I don't know, actually now it was even start of last year. We don't remember when, but the marketing lead from Hypercycle. Uh, Jerry V. Hall. And I just thought we could give him also a name drop here because I think he's also doing a great job doing some networking across the chains. And I watch every day the digital asset news just to get some good just to know what's out there, what's happening in news. And Jeremy has been visiting him quite often, even maybe once a week. And so whoever is looking at this and is new to the like in the like blockchain world and like digital assets, then it's kind of good place to get started and know how to secure your funds and um, what to invest, how to take profits, and how to even like think about like into like the financial part of it where we are working in. Final mention is the AGI 25 and 2025 conference, which is gonna be happen very soon. I don't know exact date yet, but I probably all the information is on the link that I provide below. That's a summary link that will lead to even to that correct website where it's happening. I think I was also had the opportunity to go to the 2023 conference, and that's a lot of like technical information mostly. But yeah, it's good to kind of know where the like technology is come from and how many like the people who spend like 40 plus years on figuring out what the AJ is and they're still in the same network and still driving the same things. And in these conferences, they usually come together and share their next explorations and successes and failures to learn from. So whoever is able to join off these conferences or who are interested in AGI or these technological advances, check out all the news that will come up. Probably there will be some live streaming happening as has there been in the previous conferences. So I suggest to check that up. But now I feel like the official part is over, where I try to do some kind of introduction and marketing, which I'm usually not a fan of. I will jump into our first topic and maybe the only one, who knows, which is knowledge-based epoch. At the beginning, I will kind of show you what has done. Here we have so I assume everybody knows that we have this knowledge-based work group where we are trying to collect all the assets that Ambassador program has done, all the relevant assets. And how do we know that's relevant? Well, that's again goes through the eyes of other core contributors, checking them, making a choice like, is it valuable? And then if it is, it goes through a process where AI even helps us here now and then it ends up in the knowledge base. What makes it interesting for me is that we are trying to always automate the process pipeline of getting the assets into this knowledge base. And first I was wondering if anybody has known, has they seen it, have they used it? And regarding that, I will prepare also a poll in Zoom for that. But before I go into that, I'm gonna also drop that chat or that Gitbook link into the chat. And I will give just a few overview. So the way it started was I wanted to try something where we have like a holistic view over the program itself and more like a system design part of it. Because to me, like the Ambassador program, deep funding, Catalyst, Intersect, all of these different experiences, and some of us have had in many different places, or grant funds or innovation funds that happen in Polkadot, Tezos, or across the blockchain network. I I feel like we are always like they are like moving towards having like knowledge base and access, and now with all of this LLM stuff, how do we aggregate and make it useful and accessible and where you can like find stuff? Unfortunately, it is not easy to build LLM on top of that, at least from my part. Vibe coding is a thing, but it still takes a lot of time. So right now it is more like a page where we get the assets and we're more like building the processes. How do we find assets? Here is the like a first, like a framework, which is based on the cognitive. What is the like? Where to have the name here? Because I'm slipping me. It's like some cognitive model. which I cannot really find in the wording now here. But in the videos, I will go through that and you will also hear me about it. And this is like constructed basically, those who are like know about this system thinking and like frameworks, then probably they will recognize this global strategy, agent model, executive function, cognitive control, expectation setting, behavioral patterns, role definitions, all of these kind of categories that put together um, like a entire thing that system holds, like all the different nuances you can question data sets or basically systems. Some of these categories are actually not part of the ACE model. Yeah, it's right now. It's I don't remember the name anymore. It's just fall through. But there are like few also like how do you say it? Mm, another like categorical things that I thought we should try to embed it here and to make it easier to organize the assets. But yeah, well, it's still like um, like yeah, it still has a way to be like improved. I think what needs here is an LLM to make most of the sense. However, I used it myself, so every time I'm looking for an asset or I know I'm in a conversation with somebody or usually in online, and I feel like, oh, you need to find very specific thing and remember, oh yeah, I know ambassador program, somebody in some work group did something, then I come here and try to find it. And if I don't, then I will yeah, go through the casual ways of finding it through Discord or some browser history or some other methods. Um, so if you like kind of look at these categories, these are also on the left side here. These are our like ways to integrate. It also explains all the categories themselves, what they are for. But if you browse through the uh, like categories and subcategories, which are like how do we reprioritize activities or what is expected from members, you will start seeing all of these links. These are all the slides that Ambassador program has created. So we have some of them are like duplicating in different pages because some of the assets are usable in many different areas. Um, yeah, I'm not gonna go too much into that, but this is basically how it's organized, how it can be used. Yeah, well, it also can be used for shares, but now I'm wondering how you have been using it. So let me see if I can open up the poll and maybe it drops you all the questions at once. Maybe it gives you uh, one question at a time. I'm not sure how I set it up now. But in the first question, I ask how often do you look for ambassador program assets? And this is basically to kind of get an idea of uh, are you do you often even use the things that we create in this ecosystem, in this program itself? And if you do, then there are like follow-up questions to like where do you find them? How do you find them? So yeah, please take your time going through these questions. I hope everybody has that poll open. And if you have any questions, yeah, just shoot. I kind of just went straight into it and just noticed I spent 15 minutes on yeah, just like blazing through the things. So floor is yours if you have any questions, or if you don't see a poll, then let me know because I did open it up for everybody.
Tio, it's open. How we interact with it? Through the QR or on the Zoom?
It should be on the Zoom itself. Do you have? Okay. So good point. So I can just remove co-hosts now from the
Okay.
people
Okay,
because
yeah. That's a problem. Sure.
because
There you go.
co-hosts can't
Yeah.
do that.
Cool. It's now it's working. Thank you, mate.
Yep. Yeah, because I realized if when I'm recording, the people who are watching from town hall don't see anything. So I'm just gonna, I guess, breathe through what we are going through. First question was, how often do you look for ambassador program assets? There are a bunch of options here. Are you doing it daily, few times, once a week? And also we have the option of other here. I see two people have now answered the first question. Oh, okay. Maybe I now see all of the questions are answered by two people. So it probably waits for everybody to fill up the answers before it's submitted. The second question was, where do you go to find information when you are looking for something specific about Ambassador program? And options here again, like a Discord, browser address, reach out to core contributors. I do remember that even if I share it on the screen, the the recording doesn't capture it, nor does the screen share. So currently, yeah, we're waiting for responses. We have how many people here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. Yeah. So two people have answered all the questions. We're gonna wait for more. Third question is, which of these locations have been most reliable to find information? Then fourth question is, if you have chosen other, share us locations we are missing. So that's if something your slip is showing. I am not sure what is slip. You mean the polls and quiz? You can see these questions? Or you mean you can see the knowledge base book? Either way. Fifth question is, are you aware of what knowledge base workgroup is doing? So far now 3 people have answered, and all of them have said yes, which is great. And have you tried looking for assets in knowledge base Gitbook before, which is number 6? And I have noticed 2 people have answered yes. Yeah, while we wait for more responses to come in, for those who have said yes to the last question, have you tried looking for assets in knowledge base Gitbook? What did you look for, and did you find it?
Okay, let me go back to the call. I was one of them. I did follow up the Gitbook share earlier on the channel. And again, we've seen where we can integrate not only treasury process and all this valuable information with the framework we're building on the dashboard. So I was really surprised by all this information we have, to be honest. So how we can extract it? Probably there are some places for use the framework to have the flow of this information. How we are integrating or looking forward to integrate LLM also with what we are doing, and where I see similarities and not overlapping, but a place that probably we can help through MCP and creating the agent that we can integrate later with ASI. We have been doing that for this last month with a couple of agents. I think that's probably the best way to Thibaut to be able to have more integration, not integration, but engagement with this information and using an LLM. Again, ASI one is not open source. We can try different options, but I do like that the agent idea of we do have a core contributor agent and all that thing that probably we have, again, some things to work on. I do have to go deep on all the information, but I really dig the work that you have been putting together on this stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
so it
cool.
was really cool to see. Okay, so good stuff, man.
Yeah. I tried to, uh, I took also an approach from, I remember Roger mentioned the platform called N8N, which is like building plugins together. And I tried that to kind of extract this knowledge base, spent few hours, and I mean, AI is pretty cool, and it's kind of gives you this idea of how stuff works. It gives you guideline that what tools to use. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it. Was able to extract all of this information. And then I was like, okay, cool. Now what next? But then I stopped there because it started asking like credentials, and I had to connect my credit card to like put it together with the ChatGPT that we're using. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop here. It's gonna cost probably money, and let's first see yeah, what does the next quarter holds us. And the kind of yeah, we kind of forgot that because well, we're having this token price issues all the time. So I was like, okay, maybe let's not push all of the ideas and stuff on this work group yet, and kind of clean this work group up and just kind of keep it in motion. Yeah, for now, mostly our focus has been organizing the assets and keeping it up to date. Because the hard part here was it took us entire year to get basically some of the assets that we have like up here. Um, because the way we work is totally different in ambassador program. It's not like hey, one person is gonna do a thing. What we are trying to do here is at least from my perspective, I also try to decentralize every single role here on all of these things. So yeah, a lot of the information you see here, it's touched by, I don't know, probably a 10 plus people just to get this information on here. It has gone through several iterations. And one say this is like an overhead and like it could have been done faster if just one person would be in charge. But I think what makes it fun is that we are leveling up other people understanding also on what is system design thinking, what is relevant information, and it's also a bit of and every time we did this knowledge based stuff and organizing, the main feedback was, oh, I learned so much about Ambassador program. I didn't know you went through a different stages of like decision making processes and like how these work groups like came up and then like learning and like that writers work groups had their own like experiments and like the ways they are engaging and like onboarding people. So each work group has their onboarding ways. Um, but yeah, so it has been kind of like a learning curve for a lot of people, and for me it has been like to see how much can I decentralize my work because I used to kind of do it like myself, but now in this environment, I try to see what can I do when we just put an idea and how many other people are kind of putting themselves up to do the tasks and kind of work on it piece by piece. But yeah, LLM is probably the next step. When it will come, we'll not sure yet, but I think we have all the knowledge. We just now needs to start using it. Um, And I think all of the networks that I'm part of are getting closer to that. So it's cool that you're using an agent. Everybody is like, I keep nudging people that, hey, let's work together with the ACI. Let's use that. But yeah, everything is so early and people are like looking at it like, yeah, I'm gonna use something that's already working. And it's like, and just ChatGPT dropped in their own agent. But there are both good and bad news. Some people say it's working well, some people like waste of time. So I don't know. Just maybe
Yeah,
just giving it another few quarter and it's gonna go
yeah,
crazy.
I do. So Fortrack put this project together for Catalyst round, previous round, uh, that Ines participated with a concept idea where they draft the proposal and they are delivering the last milestone. It's an agent for DREP agent. I put some inputs on that idea too. It's pretty cool. They figured that out and they're going to review now with the team to showcase and stuff. Uh, they use Llama. They end up using Llama. I do understand that we can reach a ASI for a deeper discussion on using it. But really, the case study of the MCPs to turn a landing page into yeah, with an agent, into an agent through the MCPs. I think with what you have, we can pull it together. Um, I was thinking on all the stuff that you work on, how we can use the same with the API for the thing of treasure. How we can use it. So for us, it's really useful to know that is there. Not only to know, but also to understand the process thinking behind the tools that you use. Yeah, let's keep this discussion later on next week after we finish with the work group parts and all that stuff that I shared with you guys earlier. Because this is it. That's the thing. If you have the whole thing over there, and then with a QLO and the knowledge graph, we can do some crazy stuff.
Yeah, we have Sukran and Rems joining us. In case there is not a pop-up for you that says, hey, there is a poll, then check your
Document.
bottom screen. I don't know if you're on phone, then probably it's under the three dots option where you have more. Look for a button or a feature called polls and quizzes. And this will open up a new panel with the 6 questions. Right now, I still have the poll open where you can answer a few questions about the way you are doing knowledge management, if you're doing it at all. Oh, a co-host. Yes, I'm gonna remove co-host option from you, Sukran. You have joined here with Ambassador program. Yeah. Yeah, fun fact. Okay, I'm not gonna mention that. When we are all multiple people are using Ambassador program, it does give us trouble importing that to Treasury Manager. I have pulled an auto configurator that assumes the correct people are in their calls. But yeah, just keep in mind that someday the data may show that you are in meeting where you're not because you're like often there, but then sometimes not. Because yeah, unfortunately, Zoom AI or Zoom API is not that great. But yeah, there has been, I don't know, slight change. He joined. I don't know. Did he answer questions? But there is another person who said that they have used knowledge-based Gitbook, and I'm wondering, is he still in the room? And if they are so, can you share your experience with the knowledge base and what you were looking for? Ooh, and we have two no's here. Um, okay. The first question here we had was, how often do you look for ambassador program assets? And one person says a few times a week, one said once a month, one said rarely, and one said only when they need it in very specific times or project. So there is probably in this room at least many of you are not looking for information. Yeah. Guillermo, are you the one who is looking assets a few times a week, or you were more like, sometimes I need it? And
Yeah, so this last period of development, I have been looking for everything. um, but really, and this is very useful. So Drive have a really good search on ours, Asube, Discord. which I found very annoying sometimes to do search and all the stuff, but we do share a lot of our information there. But yeah, and on this case, as we're looking for specific information or knowledge, this is yeah very useful. And going through that, for example, on the program Gitbook, we didn't have an overlapping over onboarding section. And discussing all of this stuff internally with Vani, with you, and other members, there's a lot of stuff that is very useful to go back and see what we have. I don't want to be doing something that is already there. So yeah.
Yeah.
And it also makes the question: how much are we going to use the tool we're building, and how much of these other tools that we already have and knowledge we can integrate to make, because this is a tool that we're going to have probably engagement through the months. So how we make that to get all the inputs of all this stuff. So yeah, step by step, mate. There's a lot of stuff we need to figure out, but I do like the Asian experience we have been having, because I tried a bunch of stuff out there, and our stuff is pretty damn good. Let's see how we figure it out, because the criteria of our agent, it will be built through all this knowledge base. It's not that it's going to be us telling to her, oh, we are nice because we do this and that. It should be about data, not about our narrative. Okay, so this is crazy fucking stuff.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
just make my work 100 times easier, Thibaut.
Yeah. I mean, I can't really wait until we connect this with LLM. I think there are two features we need. One is that either the dashboard you're using, that is integrated with like, hey, what is ambassador program? And then it answers you. And what this knowledge base, what I hope is gonna be is like, because it links all the relevant assets that all the ambassadors agree that they are relevant, that they will stop. Okay, we have onboarding slides here. We have 3 different videos here from different like periods, maybe a nuances because like different work groups onboard themselves differently. So the LLM can kind of guide them themselves. You don't have to have a person here online. And I also think like a Discord bot would be super nice to have. And if that thing already works, every fucking community needs that. Like everybody needs that. And the way we're built it is that you come to meeting, you drop your assets in, what is relevant, you vote or you do some kind of heat map and you're like, okay, this is good, this is good. And we are built right now on the ChatGPT. Yeah, maybe it is a competition or not. But we can we can also drop the same context, same things that we put to the ChatGPT for the way we are organized that to organize these assets. And maybe perhaps an AGI agent can then do that. It gives a list of where the AI is giving the list where the assets will be organized. You just say yes, no. Even it provides the rationales and stuff, and you can, well, of course, adjust it. And then we now have a database of also the rationale why any of the assets, like if you want to know why onboarding workgroup report Q4 is under how do we store assets and experience, then we have a human rationale there, or maybe now mostly, okay, I would say probably 60% of now is AI rationale with a human like checklist on that, like saying that, yeah, that made sense. Maybe some adjustment. And probably the hard part was the beginning where we didn't have any kind of idea how to organize it, but we built that from the bottom up. Then we automated with AI, and now we have this process. Okay, we do some motherboarding, we do some, then we import that with scripts. Well, right now, when the scripts are in Excel, doesn't matter. We can recode them. While coding is getting crazy. I'm also now integrating my own kind of workflow, added the Copilot into this mess, which is using ChatGPT. Again, a competition, but hey, it tells me. And it's getting pretty creepy good, I would say. The amount of documentation and files and like the like results and top like products are great. That's a lot, like 10 times faster than I used to be. So yeah,
Yeah,
stuff is
pretty amazing. Yeah, good stuff. Um, some specific on our, let's say, rational aspects of a program, um, narrative, and all the data sets that are more in regards of our operations, different categorization on contributions, and then different that from the outcome, but you can all put them in together into the same analytic to see. I've been putting together this rational, let's say, base result system analysis through the R&D and LATAM guilds for the last year and a half to say where we spend the money, what was, and when I put the outcome, the whole thing makes, it's you can really have an analytic that will come with results. If you don't have that variable, yeah, so it's quite amazing how we can use that kind of thing integrated with our governance without making it kind of a, but also the reputation will really play a role because that's the other thing that I'm seeing because I got deep into a rabbit hole of governance by building this. So I have all this stuff in my head that and in paper and in documentation. But I think we are in the right direction. So this is very helpful, Thibaut. I think it will be a great case, not only for our new CMO, but for the whole family that we use that ASI tool and we integrate and create an agent. But yeah, so let's go for it.
I also now ended the poll because there are 5 people who have answered, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people have. Well, okay, so sorry, I just either destroyed somebody's answers or they did not answer either way. And what we can tell from that is that for the question how often you look for ambassador program assets in this call, there is one, everybody answered the same different answer. One said few times a week, one said a few times a month, one said once a month, one said rarely, one said only when he needs to. And I would be the one who says basically daily. I don't know, just I guess my part of work is that always looking for some kind of documents and dropping. And that's why I like to work in like on person's environment. This wasn't something possible in like my earliest kind of career, and in this new, now it's actually been like 4 years that I have been in this blockchain space and open source world. It's like, hey, if you're doing a proposal, you can be sure that I'm sharing if it's good. If it's crap, well, don't worry about it. I'm not showing anybody. But like the reports, they are getting better. I'm like the network is increasing. And maybe that's why the Taylor from Cardano Foundation joined us into Singularity, because we are here. Maybe not. Who knows? We don't have to make ourselves important. Then, second question, where do you go find information when you're looking for something? And everybody, absolutely everybody, and I couldn't answer, I would also chosen a Discord. Because this has been a kind of like our hub, our connecting place. But yeah, Discord is problematic. Like there is a lot of scrolling there that's gonna happen. The shears function maybe helps you if you exactly remember what you're looking for. So that is definitely not a great place to keep your knowledge, but looks like everybody is using that. One is using browser address bar. That's probably my main first go-to before we had the knowledge base. Then I reach out to core contributors directly. Well, technically, no, I'm like browser address bar is the first thing I'm using, because if I'm like working on a report or any of the stuff, it's probably the thing where I just type in and already suggest me the correct document because they're recent. But if like month has passed or more, then the browser bar may start giving problems and may not find you all these assets anymore. Two people said that I reach out to core contributors. Yeah, not all of them liked it. I never contacted, well, never is a strong word, but I rarely kind of contact anybody to find an asset. If I don't find it, it usually, for me, it says you're not supposed to find it. Uh, yeah, maybe it's not the great one, but yeah, we're getting better at it. I also put in there at work knowledge-based Gitbook, and looks like nobody's using that. I hope that today's call helped you to shed some light, because there in the bottom there was also a question about do we even know about it, and people know about it. And I think what it's missing is the LLM part, and maybe we don't even need to use the Gitbook. Maybe it just needs to be machine readable, and that's the end goal. And AI needs to read it. But there are some people using Ambassador program Kitbook. So yeah, now I feel a bit hurting. So they use Ambassador pro Kitbook, but not knowledge-based Kitbook, which has even more information. Probably Ambassador program is good for like onboarding. So if you meet a new person, you're like, hey, this is good starting point. Meeting summary archive is being used. That's actually interesting. I think I browsed it few times, but never really used it. So it's great that somebody has these values in that. Ambassador sessions, meetings, yeah, that's usually a place where we exchange documents and kind of remind ourselves what we have gone through. Social media. Nobody uses social media to find information. Not even I don't even know how to use that. Twitter gives me heebie-jeebies when I join there. I try to avoid it as much as I can. And yeah, three of the five people showed Google Drives. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Today I made the grave mistake. I used Google Drive to find if we have made Treasury Automation Workgroup report for quarter 3. I didn't find it, and I created one. And then I wanted to put it on the motherboard, and then I found it. I had it already there. So I spent just 1 hour to recreate what we already had.
Okay, but you should go to your own planner because it should be there, not even in the Myopon. So previous quarter.
No,
Um,
I mean quarter 3, like this quarters. It's
okay.
not in the planner yet. And are we going to have a planner for this quarter, or is the dashboard gonna take care of that? That's also a
Oh my
open question.
God. Oh my God. Yeah, we're pushing hard. But you see how all of this, if we don't have the work group, you saw that the work group images that I shared with all the sections. If we don't have that, it's gonna really hard to pull. And I'm really doubting about how we integrate information. I'm really in that's a decision that is gonna change the whole thing. As you mentioned, we don't want a lot of long, large quarterly report templates or proposals on this and that to make it, but how we make it efficient for us to gather this kind of data, because then you can create a knowledge base, automate a knowledge base driven input thing that can fit from the interactions into the section of the knowledge base. What will be in a section in the dashboard. Too much information for Tuesday, my friend. What is Wednesday? Too much information. Tuesday. Yeah, and I do have to intend. I'm gonna have to get into Latam because we rescheduled for after this one. But yeah, but I do really like this. Yeah, never social media for searching. Not our ambassador, because there's not that much. If you look for probably regional, you will. And I think the SEO research that Kisi is putting together probably is going to help in that regard, that you can browse on social media. But X specific, not others. But yeah, but let's close and
Yeah. If somebody's wondering what just Guillermo said, he was answering or like adding a follow-up from a Rems who is chatting in the Zoom chat. And he mentioned that he actually have used X to find some information about, I'm not sure which Discord community, I assume some other like networks is and use that to kind of probably to reconnect or find something relevant there. But yeah, maybe it's related to where did you find information about some community first? Because you wouldn't know to come to this Discord community if you don't know that this exists, and you probably use maybe Google Shares to find, and then you get whatever that shows you. But yeah, going to another question. And fifth question. The fourth question was if you had chosen other than share, but no other medias were shared where people are looking for the information. Fifth question is, are you aware of the knowledge base? One person said no. Well, I hope now you're aware what this knowledge base is doing. We are building a database of all the ambassador program assets, and we're putting it in Gitbook. But not all of them. Well, technically, we are first collecting all, but we're not putting it all on the Gitbook. We are making sure that they're relevant, they're up to date, there is no new versions of that. And we also take down the Gitbook asset. So if somebody saw a leak there and it doesn't find that anymore, this means something newer replaced it. And usually it should be in the same location. And then final question was, have you tried looking for an asset in knowledge-based Gitbook before? And yeah, two people said yes. One was Guillermo, another was somebody we probably never know. And rest of them said no. But considering that most of you who answered are not really needing to use, like rarely, for once a month looking for an asset, then knowledge base probably doesn't come into your mind, and you would probably have an easier time finding using your own like patterns. And this is a feedback. Like I feel like a kind of like what this data set shows us, maybe the Gitbook wasn't never meant for human consumption, even though that was the ideal that, oh, we now know the entire system. If you want to know what are our behavioral patterns, or like if somebody, because at first I thought I will use it for like an onboarding tool. And then we're like, okay, how do we like what are the conflicts and how do we solve them? And then we go into, and then for here, I'm not sharing screen anymore, but we have under how are conflicts or disagreements handled within the system, 4 assets pop up. As ambassador program analysis, my report, voting consensus, consent, decision making, ambassador program, my report, facilitate on decision making web page, and begin interviewers handbook Google document. So there are different work groups that have worked on conflict resolutions. My reports probably somewhere where we just discussed how should we go about it process. I'm not opening it up right now. Web page, I'm wondering what is this web page actually? The CC. Oh, facilitators collective WordPress website that is describing how to facilitate. And yeah, that's a sort of conflict resolution process itself. And then begin interviews handbook. I assume this is the AI ethics workgroup stuff. Yeah, interviewer handbook for BGI Nexus. Yeah, it's probably not conflict resolution itself, but here is like all disagreements handled and information how do we capture interviews. Perhaps had something relevant for that. Detailed handbook designed to help interviewers prepare, conduct, and follow up interviews effectively within begin frame. I'm not sure this is actually should belong here, but this is where it should get interesting. Like as we go through it, unfortunately, Gitbook doesn't have that feature. Oh, at least no, this doesn't belong here, and we need to kind of discuss ourselves and kind of recognize that hey, this this should not be here, and then kind of link it to where it should be. But yeah, and then what happens in this process is that I change a cell in an Excel sheet, I press the button, I get the new markdown file, and I upload it manually right now on the GitHub. In future, that's all of this will be more like automated if this is needed. But there is always this fine balance between how much you spend on automating and how much you do on operations. Because the operations here probably are like less than 10 minutes, but automating all of that's probably like 5 to 6 hours. Yeah, I hope that maybe if we all start using it, the demand gets bigger. But now I start realizing that probably the biggest user for this knowledge base is going to be an AI. But yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Question, Thibaut, to have in consideration for that. When was the last update on database in the knowledge base?
Last update I think was 2 months ago. So the knowledge base is on monthly cadence now. And the last
Okay.
time we met, two people are part of collecting information. And next knowledge base workgroup, we are everybody who will join. We'll look all the new assets that we have gathered. We will decide which one we want to put, which one should go to Gitbook. And then we distribute these assets that we agreed that should go to Gitbook between members who want to contribute to organizing. They all will go to the ChatGPT and look through what the AI will tell them. They agree or disagree and copy paste the answers to Google Sheet. And from Google Sheet, I import them to the Excel. I do some script magic and then I import them to GitHub, which then updates the Gitbook. That's the whole
Okay,
process, and that's
that's great. I'm gonna miss the read AI. I just realized because I say I'm gonna have to watch the recording of this. But I'm gonna bother you and we will schedule later again how we can help you with the MCP and the agent and the thing integrated. Well, all the research we have been doing for that, and how we can extract all of it for the dashboard or put the section or whatever. But let's follow up later.
Uh,
This-
well, I sent this ambassador account is hosting it, so I have to close this call to start the LATAM call anyway. So we
Yeah.
are all going to
So
end here. But then
yeah.
thanks for
So
joining, listening,
same.
and sharing the insights through the poll and giving us more to go for. This information will also be reflected more in the progress report, and perhaps it's also in the next meeting summary. Thanks for joining, and I close the session here.